As many of you already know, Western Europe is the primary capital of political correctness. And this political correctness in the long run will result in the West's destruction. Because as I speak, Western Europe is experiencing this vast movement of Muslim immigrants into its part of the continent. And in no way am I trying to imply that Muslims, or Islam for that matter, is going to destroy the West. But what I am implying is that the radical movement within Islam, or the culture associated with much of the Islamic nations, will result in the West's destruction. If this foolish act of appeasement and political correctness in Europe continues, because in Europe, politicians and the mainstream media, for that matter, have adapted to this mindset that these immigrants are out looking for a better life. And in many cases, that's the case. But others, it would be ignorant and foolish of me to suggest this. Because some are not looking to be set free of the chains that might have been imposed upon them by their native country. These fundamentalist Muslims are bringing the chains imposed upon them, as well as, in my sense, the radical culture, to the most liberal part of the world, which is Western Europe. And that's the main difference between American immigration and European immigration, on the most part. Because American immigrants are eager to adapt to the American way of life. And when I say American way of life, I'm not referring to McDonald's or Burger King. I mean immigrants that come to America are eager to learn the language or find a job. In Europe's case, immigrants, with the majority being Muslims, are becoming dependent on the government's assistance. With the majority of the welfare and other government paid programs going towards helping these poor, misguided individuals. And I understand that some people need the extra push. But when we have imams justifying and encouraging its followers to milk the government out of every penny and calling it, and I might mispronounce this, my Muslim friends, jizya, whatever, in plain English, the tributes that the infidel natives of Muslim occupied countries are obligated to pay to Muslims in order to preserve their lives. Therefore, my friends, the sky's the limit. In Denmark, for example, Muslims make up 5% of the population, but receive a staggering 40% of the welfare checks and benefits. That's ridiculous. No. Check that. This is ridiculous, or more ridiculous, I should say. Omar Bakari Muhammad, I think it was, who preached of how Muslims will conquer the White House and will rule the world, received about 1,800 pounds in welfare benefits. In Denmark, others in Denmark, especially the Muslim youth, have t-shirts that read 2030 and then we take over. But dare a person of European descent speak out against this injustice, they will immediately be labeled racist, which is funny because being Muslim is not a race. It's a fucking religious philosophy. But to the European left, any criticism of the helpless minority always has to be race motivated. But the more amusing part of this is if a Muslim speaks out against this injustice and speaks in favor of free speech and individual rights, they can also expect harsh criticism from the many liberal establishments for criticizing or abandoning their culture or religion. And those that go against democratic values are congratulated by the establishment in Europe, Western Europe. To the West's liberal establishments, honor killings, forced marriages, Sharia law, and all that other good stuff are all a part of one's powerful, peaceful, must be respected and admired culture. I really don't know what's more deadly for the West. This liberal establishment, which I've been using plenty throughout the video, or radical Islam itself. As many of you European folks love to tell me, and many Americans, wake up and see the freaking light. Your government, your establishment, your radical Islamic problem is destroying your freaking continent. And if you don't wake up, say goodbye to the European West. Whoop, down the toilet.